Om Vang me manasi pratishthitam mano me vachi pratishthitam aviravirma edi vedasyama anisthaha shrutam me ma prahasihi anena dhitena horatran Samdadhami Ritam Vadishyami Satyam Vadishyami Tanmam Avatu Tadvaktaram Avatu Avatu Mam Avatu Vaktaram Avatu Vaktaram Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. So this is Grit Samada's Bhargava's Shaunaka. This means the father of the whole clan. This hymn is Trishtuk, only 6 verses. Nihota hotrishadane vidanach Tve Shodi Divana Sadat Sudakshach Adabdha Vrata Pramatir Vasishtach Sahasram Baharach Shuchijihvo Agni. And you can see that Santis are very different in the Vedic language. Shuchijihvach Agni becomes O, but A doesn't drop. For those who study Sanskrit. So, Nihota Hotri Shadane Vidanach, the priest of the Kolhota, has taken his seat in the house of the priesthood. Hotri Shadane, Hotri Sadane. He's Asadat. Asadat is should be Asidat in classical Sanskrit, but Asadat is the aorist. He sat in the place of sadhana, of Hotri, of the priest of invocation or summoning of the gods, is the Hotar. He is ablaze with light and vivid in radiance. Tveshach, Didivan. Didi is the Vedic root to shine, the one who has the luminosity, and Tveshach is full of vivid radiance, or burning, burning and full of radiance. He took his seat in the place of Hotar. And where is that place of Hotar? He is the one who invokes the gods. He is in the heart of man. It is our aspiration, the flame of our aspiration, which calls to the gods. Adabdha vrata pramatich vasishtha. He is Vasishtha, and Vasishtha means from root vas, to shine and to be rich. Yeah, riches from here. Vasu is luminous, riches. Vasishtha is the most luminous, or the most, the richest. Yeah? The richest in light, if you will, or in consciousness. He adabdha vrata pramati, whose pramati is adabdha vrata, is what we call Shivendra says here. He has a mind of wisdom whose workings are invincible, whose workings are invincible. He has the mind of wisdom, that is pramati, whose workings, vrata, are invincible, adabdha. Adabdha means invincible, that which cannot be trampled upon, which cannot be subdued, yeah, which cannot be erased, effaced, belittled, put down into the soil. So adabdha vrata, whose ways of action cannot be dabda, subdued. He is with that pramati. Now, about pramati, I will say a few more words later. Sahasram Bhara, he, the bringer of Sahasram, thousands. Shuchi Jihva, with pure tongue, Agni. So he has the mind of wisdom whose workings are invincible and is most rich in treasures. Fire with his tongue of purity is a bringer of the thousand. Now, we spoke about the thousand already, that it is the infinity of forces and powers of higher consciousness. Yes? The summoner of the gods, it's my interpretation, Hota, seated at the place of the priest at the altar in the heart of man. Hotri Shadane Asadat. The most luminous, knowing Vidanach, blazing Tvesha, shining Didivan, and perfect in his action, Sudaksha. So Sri Aurobindo writes the whole article on Daksha and what it means, what means Daksha, Dakshina, and why the god of the supermind, the highest of oneness, is called a Daksha. Why Dakshina is the intuition, yes. One of the movements of the dawn, one of the names of the dawn, Dakshina. She comes with the right knowledge, with discernment. So he identifies Daksha as the powerful state of, let us say, the discerning state of power, power with discernment. Yeah? And from here we have a skill to do things right. So he is Sudaksha. He is the most perfect in judgment. That's how he translates it. Yeah? Whose judgment is perfect, whose discernment is perfect. Perfect in his action, I am translating, not in discernment. So, but discernment has to be there implied. Perfect in discerning the right action. Well, that would be the most comprehensive translation of Sudaksha. The most luminous in riches, Vasishta, with aspiration invincible in its action. This is how I translate differently from Sri Aurobindo, because I want to highlight Pramatih differently here. There are three movements. We spoke of them before. Most probably you don't remember. Maybe it was in passing. That there are Mati in the Veda is very different than in the classical Sanskrit. Mati in the classical Sanskrit is opinion, thought of ordinary kind. In the Veda, manas, man, and mati are very different. And so there are three of them. There is pramati, there is anumati, and there is sumati. And all of them are connected. So pramati, literally forward, thought forward, or fixation of consciousness forward. Anumati, in accordance, as you recognize, anumati is a sanction. So first pramati, then anumati. Anumati is the answer to pramati. And once they join together, they become sumati. And sumati, Sri Aurobindo translates as the highest mentality, nearly supramental mentality. Sumati, perfect thought. So perfect thought is the result of two movements of pramati, calling, invoking, that is the fire, the flame from below, Anumati, the answer from above, and their combination is Sumati, new state. So here Pramati is a calling. That's why I translate it as with aspiration, invincible in its action, adabdhavrata, which is always effective, with constantly effective aspiration. Whenever he is there, flaming, aspiring, the effect will be sure. Those of us who practiced integral yoga and know what this aspiration is about, it is really that. Once you have that flame, you feel its presence, you immediately see the result. But immediately, the very presence of that flame is already the result. There is immediately the answer from above. You feel the pressure from above when that flame is cognized by us. We become aware of its presence. Or it can be also other way around. You feel the pressure from above and then you feel the flame from within the heart. But they are two beloved ones. They are always going together. Yes? One is calling, other is answering. And they build this perfect mentality. Agni, a bringer of thousands, and with a pure flaming tongue, Shuchi. Shuchi can be pure, could be from root shuch to flame, yes? So flaming, pure flaming tongue. Jihva. Jihva is like a flame. And Jihva, tongue is kind of identified in many languages, not only in Sanskrit, as a flame. The tongue of flames. Flames are tongues. They are like leaking, leaking the wood. And then second one. Tuvam dutach, tuvam unach paraspach, tuvam otvam vasiyach, avrishabha praneta, agneto kasya nastaneto nunam, aprayuchan didiyan bodhi gopach. Thou art the messenger, thou art our protector who takes us to the other side. O bull of the herds, Vrishabha, thou art our leader on the way to a world of greater riches. So beautiful. You are our leader on the way to a world of greater riches. There are greater riches. We are in the world of smaller riches. Now we will move into a world of greater riches. For the shaping of the sun and the building of the bodies, awake in thy light, a guardian, and turn not from thy work of fire. There is a footnote. To the, I don't see to which word. Or in the offspring of the son of our bodies. It's interesting, yes. This phrase is quite confusing. Let us go through the words one word by word. You are the Duta, the messenger. You indeed our Paraspar. You are our protector. Literally the one who fills the passage to the beyond, or who accompanies the passage, our passage to the beyond, the protector. You are Vasiyach, Vasiyach Vrishabha Praneta. You are the more luminous or more wealthy, or towards more wealthy, also possible, or Lord, or Vrishabha, or bull of the herds, Praneta, the leader towards the more luminous world. Literally, leader forward, Praneta. It's a constant prefix for Agni. Everywhere you will see this Pramati, Praneta, always forward. His all nature is to move forward. Or Agni, Tokasya, of our offspring, of our seed, of our child, of our son, Nach, ours, yes? Tane, to spread in time and space, to extend, Tanunam, and of all our extensions, to extend of all our extensions and of the sun, or that's why he says, or in the offsprings of the sun of our bodies, because Tanu is the body. We spoke about this quite often. The Tanu is from root tan, to spread, to pull out. And our body is nothing but the spreading in time and space of the self, yeah, which is kind of finding the location in this body, in the physical body. So even our physical body is an extension in space and time. We occupy certain space, yeah? And that space we occupy is ours. That is where the body is. And then it is born in a particular time, and it will die in a particular time. And that time we cover is also Tano, the extension. We came in a certain time of the movement of the planets, yes, when the Earth was in this position, Sun in this position, to the galaxy in that position. So once we lived our 100 years, then we stop. So that passage of the planets we covered, that extension of the body we covered. And that's why Tanu is the body, the embodied state in matter, in time and space. It's kind of interesting that we never look at the body in terms of time, but only in terms of space, that here I am and that's the rest is the world. It's not like that. I am here, but our sun, our galaxy, our sun flies with the speed of 1,000,000 kilometers per hour. So if you think of how we with our sun fly with that speed, so 1 second ago I was elsewhere 1,000,000 kilometers ago. So that extension, that speed, that energy which carries this body through the space, through universe, is that extension, Tanu, the body of our bodies, because most probably is not even one body, but several bodies are carried through. Can imagine the complexity of the universe, how many bodies are carried through, you know? Vital, mental, physical bodies of every one of us. They are all interwoven in this tapestry of movement of the universe. Unimaginable complexity. And why Toka is mentioned is because the continuation in the future. Yes? It doesn't have to be that, of course, the children were very important to have because of that, yeah. But it is like a continuation of thought or application to ritual or to mundane life. But before it was like more extension into the future. Yeah? So everything what we do here, Toka, is not only what we live here, but also what we will do in the future in the bodies. By the way, even the idea of this, that we have to pass our genetic code and changes to the children, that they will continue the evolution, you know, of the species. is a very primitive look from it's a first look, yeah, very materialistic. But now even in the biology, they recognize the epigenetics. They recognize the influence of our consciousness on our system, which is in resonance with other systems, and which invokes and generates the powers which are influencing all of us. If I'm invoking within myself the powers which are activated in me, they are becoming more active, more available to others. So all those smaller changes in my epigenetic code, all those smaller influences and adjustments are in resonance with everyone else. So we influence each other all the time of what we do. Sri Aurobindo has very nice, beautiful passage in Savitri we read with Narad the other day. Let me find this for you. This was really something which explains how it happens, really. There, says Sri Aurobindo in Savitri, every thought and feeling is an act. Every thought and feeling is an act. And every act a symbol and a sign. And every symbol hides a living power. So that living power goes through. Every time we think, feel, we generate, we manifest something of the spirit. And that is not something that we have to only to pass to our children. You know? We can generate, as Sri Aurobindo translates, children in the Veda, children of our works. We can add even children of our thoughts and feelings. Yeah? These are the results, the offsprings, or the manifestations. Once, Sri Aurobindo says, we had an experience of something. Once experience, thing wants to endure and to live forever, because it was experienced by the inner consciousness, by the soul. Soul had an experience in the mind, in the feeling, in the body, and that formation lives. These are the children. These are the extensions. That's also another part of which we kind of ignore and don't think of. Right. So thou art the messenger, thou art our protector who takest us to the other shore. Paraspara, you lead us, Praneta, forward to the greater world, Vasir. And all our extensions, so to say, see how many extensions of our children, of our offspring. For the shaping of the sun and the building of the bodies in the future, awaken thy light, Bodhi, a guardian, Gopah, and turn not from thy work, Aprayuchan. Shine, yes, a very shine. Yeah, awaken thy light, yes, Didian. Didiyat. It's you see, it is deconstructed for the sake of meter, otherwise Didiyat. So you are the messenger. You are the helper for our crossing over, Paraspara. You are the greatest of all shining wealth, Basir. I'm not translating that he leads us to a greater world of riches, which is better. You are the leader forward, O Lord, Praneta. Vrishabha, or Agni, of our son and the extension of our offspring, shine uninterruptedly, awake as our protector. Interesting. So you see, I put off, I'm just translating literally what is written there in the grammar. Of our sun shine uninterruptedly. So awake as our protector, of our sun protector, of our extensions protector, awake. Yeah? So it's kind of upside down, the sentence. So if fire is there, it can carry us forward, and not only us, but all our offsprings, our thoughts, our luminous thoughts, our aspirations forward. They become powers. They join the common inspiration of the humanity. They join the flame which is there in nature, which is flaming up, seeking the greater manifestation of the divine. Nature herself does yoga, as we know. I had a presentation of at Himalayan they had a conference on Rig Veda. And it's interesting, after all the presentation I read, so inspired, Sri Robindra's words, the question from the group comes. They ask me, and what should we do if we have to earn money? Well, how can we read Rig Veda? We need to earn money, we have to make living. And then it was a kind of confusing question for the first. And then you understand that you can do it with the flame. And if you don't do it even as a sacrifice, whatever you do doesn't matter. How you do it matters. Even if you don't do at all, live your normal life, the Ashwabinda says the sacrifice will be done by nature. Nature is doing it already, whether you want it or not. You think you're kind of trying to make your living? Oh, no way. It's nature doing the sacrifice through you. It's that flame in the nature which is pushing you for some reason. Somewhere you go, someone you meet, something you do, and everything becomes a part of this spiritual enterprise. So this is a good news for those who do not want to become spiritualized. They will also be part of this sacrifice. Only it will take longer time. So anytime you have a question, you can interrupt. Yeah, we don't do this. It's not. It's a study group, because I feel like I introduced this to us. Yeah.
Vladimir, I have a question. Can I ask?
Yeah, please. So just ask. Mm-hmm.
This is regarding what you just said, that even those who are not aware, nature does the sacrifice, even if they're not doing it consciously. So nature does the sacrifice, but because they're not doing it consciously and joyfully, because there's not the aspiration in the heart, therefore this sacrifice that nature does through them kind of forcefully becomes pain and suffering for them, right?
Yeah, struggle in life. Finding,
Effort. Yeah.
finding your happiness. Everybody wants the happiness. Happiness is
Yes.
not done for some reason, because nature is doing what she has to do. And as Sri Aurobindo says, and she will give you only that little which is absolutely indispensable. Yes, because first of all, she has to fulfill what she has to do. And she uses you as a material. If we are not conscious, we become material for the sacrifice. She put us here and there and make us work, do things. You know how beautifully Sri Aurobindo described in the Uttarpara speech when he came out from jail. He said this clearly, that Krishna revealed to him that everybody does his work, Krishna's work, even those who fight against him, but they are not aware of it. They think they have their own, aim, their own direction. They want something out of life and they struggle for it. But before they arrive at something, at their aim, whatever they aim, they will go through a long path of life, doing many things, meeting many people, and that will be used by the divine. The divine will make corrections what it wants to do through nature, here, through struggles, through death, through pain, through suffering, through happiness, through all that we have that we call life. This is the machinery of nature. There is no other way to move us forward. If there would be no pain, we would all fall asleep. So pain is waking us up constantly and trying to draw our attention to where we have to put some consciousness into or attention to. So
we can say that the psychic chooses the pain?
no, chance, no, it doesn't choose.
I mean, not exactly like how I said it, but the psychic chooses the experience so that we become conscious through that experience.
That pain is nature's device, not psychic. The pain and happiness and unhappiness, there's duality of life force, prana. It is always good and bad. Sukh and dukh goes together. The moment you were too much excited, just wait next second what happens next. If you start observing this, you will see that it is happening constantly. It's amazing. You can't be only excited. So don't get excited so easily because then it will go down immediately. Or when you're down, you should know that this will come up. It cannot be only down. This is the
But
way
but the psychic and nature work together, isn't it? They work together. So the nature is only doing what she has been sanctioned through the psychic. In that sense, we transfer it, we look at it as pain and suffering and effort and hardship. But actually, the psychic wants us to go through that in order to come to the consciousness. So indirectly, it is the psychic's way of making us walk through a path because we've been unconscious till we become conscious. It repeats the experience again and again if we don't learn it the first time.
Good question. Somebody has some ideas actually on this.
I don't know, this goes through my mind quite a bit.
So how come that, yes, psychic is there, sanction of the divine is there, and we suffer? This is this question. Why do we suffer? Some people become...
Narad answers this in Savitri. When he tells the queen, when she asks him about the fate, why Savitri have to suffer this fate, of her husband's death. So that time Narad tells her, because she doubts the very presence of God. She says, can there be a God who can do this? And then Narad tells her that suffering is of your own choice. You signed up for it. And then he tells her about the soul, how the soul descends, and it is the soul's choice to go through certain experiences. And in this case, Savitri is absolutely prepared to go through the experiences, and that's why she's being led through it. And then he tells the queen, you back off. You can't help your daughter here. She is totally equipped to do what she needs to do, even though it's a terrible so-called fate.
Yeah, you remember this passage. Others also remember, the passage of the Book of Fate. Canto 2.
So my question actually took off from there, that Narad says that we choose our suffering, we choose to suffer.
But there is a more sophisticated answer there. Yes, it is this. Maybe we should open. This is really beautiful passage.
Let's open it.
It will help us quite a bit. Um, I will project.
Yeah.
Um,
Canto 2, Book 6.
yeah. I will find with the reference. Yeah, here it is. Okay, if we read a little bit, not just passages from here, let me project, then it will help. Really, it's a good answer. There is more to it. Of course, I want to hear more about this question. It's really important. So when she complains, because Savitri also will come to despair, and she will talk to the divine and say, why should I at all raise my hands to you, to those heavens which do not answer to our need? Would it not better for me now to die and go with Satyavan and just forget this world? And then she hears this answer. And what would your soul do, yes? If it would come, approach the throne there, the throne of the Supreme, and will report that your work is half done, not finished? And she understands everything. She changes. Yeah? She stops complaining. It's interesting. Here, the same complaint, a mortal who complains of death and fate. Accuse none. This is Narad speaking to the queen. Accuse none of the harms thyself has caused. This troubled world thou hast chosen for thy home. Thou art thyself the author of thy pain. Once in the immortal boundlessness of self, in a vast of truth and consciousness and light, the soul looked out from its felicity, looked out, It felt the spirit's interminable bliss. It knew itself deathless, timeless, spaceless, one. It saw the eternal, lived in the infinite. Then, curious of a shadow thrown by truth, it strained towards some otherness of self. It was drawn to an unknown face peering through night. It sensed a negative infinity, a void supernal whose immense excess, imitating God and everlasting time, offered a ground for nature's adverse birth. And matter's rigid hard unconsciousness, harboring the brilliance of a transient soul that lights up birth and death and ignorant life. And it goes on and on, mine arose. But I want to jump here, which is important. The soul, here it is. As one drawn by a grandeur of the void, the soul attracted, leaned to the abyss. It longed for the adventure of ignorance. It wanted ignorance. And the marvel and the surprise of the unknown and the endless possibility that lurked in the womb of chaos and in nothingness gulf, or looked from the unfathomed eyes of chance. It tired of its unchanging happiness. That's how he speaks about the divine soul. It tired of its unchanging happiness. It turned away from immortality. It was drawn to hazard's call and danger's charm. There is a charm in danger. It yearned to the pathos of grief and drama of pain. Perdition's peril, the wounded bear escape. This is so profound. It wanted to experience the wounded bear escape. from the war somewhere running away with wounds. The music of ruin and its glamour and crash. The savor of pity and the gamble of love and passion and the ambiguous face of fate. A world of hard endeavor and difficult toil and battle on extinction's perilous verge, a clash of forces, a vast incertitude. It's amazing. When I read this, my heart is just beaming. I can feel the psychic within, the vast incertitude it wanted to experience. The joy of creation out of nothingness, strange meetings on the roads of ignorance, and the companionship of half-known souls. That's what we are. Or the solitary greatness and lonely force of a separate being conquering its world. That is Sri Aurobindo. Called it, all that long passage, 2 pages, called it from its too safe eternity. A huge descent began, a giant fall. For what the spirit sees creates a truth, and what the soul imagines is made a world. Profound. So, don't complain about the pain. So you're right. There's nothing to complain. We chose this pain. We wanted to have that experience. It's very, very attracting. It's an adventure of consciousness. And somewhere Sri Aurobindo even says, even if the psychic being would be in front and calm, if it would come to the concentration camp somewhere, it would see only the paradise. That pain we consider is because we are separated in consciousness. We believe that that pain is all we are. We are much more than that simple friction of, of bliss, because pain is nothing but bliss. But when the consciousness is narrowed down, then we feel it as absolute pain. But the moment we become this divine entity, this pain is something altogether different.
Mhm.
So you are right, absolutely. Your question had an answer within it, Jayashri. That psychic is going with it, whatever comes, because it knows that everywhere the divine is hidden and it has to find it. So, and on the way there will be frictions, there will be misunderstandings, battles, but that is all part of this adventure.
Mhm.
Oh, I projected again the same thing, not the
Like he said, pain is the hammer of the gods.
right, the chisel of the gods by which they sculpture the better man. Yes, this is Sri Aurobindo's kind of beautiful, or hammer of the gods, or chisel of the gods. Both are used. Yeah, pain is. We don't like pain. Who likes pain? And everybody is running away from pain. You remember when God speaks to Savitri at the end, when he gives her all the boons?
Mhm.
You remember what he says? This is an amazing, it's when the total manifestation of the divine is taking place. How he speaks to her about pain, about suffering, about everything, that he will be in every suffering, in every pain with her. So he
Yes.
will be there with her in every way.
Yes.
So it is amazing, because if you think of it, that explains a lot.
Yes.
There will be no such kind of only happiness or some kind of, that we will stay in the safe place because it's that mm, tiring. It tired of its unchanging happiness. Unchanging happiness is not the way we are looking for. We are looking for adventure, for change, for intensity of the truth. Yes. And it cannot be done without that other part being kind of accompanying it on the way. Makes sense. Thank you for this question. And if we spend the whole hour on it, but it's really something. Okay, we move to the next one. Unless Kinshuk wants to say something, or Keka is also very thoughtful looking.
Yes, I actually wanted to share one thing. Even about our mundane lives, Sri Aurobindo says in Life Divine somewhere that this is all the result of a certain kind of wrong accounting. Because what happens is, if we look at overall life, we are in a state of happiness. Otherwise, we would not even want to continue with life. So, the very fact that we want to live more and more is an indicator that our lives are happy. Secondly, he says that we tend to dramatize pain and unhappiness much more than it really is. And it's our mind that does this trick and kind of convinces us that our lives are all full of pain and we have a problem. The extent of the pain we tend to increase much more than it really is. So these are the two things that I just remembered actually.
Very nice, very nice. Actually, maybe this is an explanation why these Abrahamic religions do not have reincarnation, I'm thinking about this all my life. There is no answer, because if you have only one life to live, then you have no way out. You have no escape. This escape, this kind of idea of that you will go into nirvana or disappear, or escapism, or the reincarnation later continues, is actually making you less happy or something. In some way, in intensity of loving life. Loving life gives way to some escapism. I'm just thinking aloud. I never thought of this before. But yes, because of the mind. Mind is doing that trick. If you are unhappy too much, then there are suicides and so on. People are easily going into it. But if you have only this particular life and you are just meeting like children meet the life, they are happy to meet the life every day. They jump out in the morning from the bed to go out to the snow, to the rain, to the sun, you name it, to the wind. They don't mind, they love it. And so what is that love, for life? Is there. Yeah, but then mind comes with this, Rambukashtam, and then you have it slowly. Yeah. Yes, Keka, smiling. That Rambukashtam made her smile most probably. This is from Tamil Nadu, for those who lived in Pondicherry. You know this. Every mama comes to Rambukashtam. Very difficult life. Maybe they call for sympathy like this, for love. If we have this idea that when somebody is in trouble or difficulty, then he's poor. Poor means good. Oh, you're poor you are, and that means pity immediately, love, sharing, some empathy. Okay, vidhema te parame janman Agni, vidhema stomaich avare sadhaste, yasmat yonech udaritha yajetam pratve avimshi juhure samidhe. may we worship thee in thy supreme birth, O fire. May we worship thee with our chants in the world of thy lower session. Interesting, I found the way to say it interestingly. I adore with sacrifice thy native lair, from which thou hast arisen. The offerings have been cast into thee when thou wert kindled and ablaze. I'm having my interpretation. We want to worship you, O Agni, in your highest birth. We want to worship you by affirmations of your power in our lower existence. I make sacred origin, every origin from which you rose. I make sacred every origin from which you rose, every location in which you flamed. I make sacred, I sacrifice, yaje. It has to be better translated. I make myself sacred in every origin. Myself, because yaje is atmanepadam. I make myself sacred in every origin, in every place from which you rise. To make it more clear, from which you rose, actually, or rise better. In you, when you are flaming, all the offerings are offered. So it's very interesting that I yaje tam yonim, yeah, yasmad yonech, from whatever yoni udaritach you rose, tam, that yoni yaje, I make sacred for myself or in myself, or I myself make sacred in that spot. So what it's meant is, most probably, is wherever the ignition of the divine presence, will, consciousness takes place in whatever element of my life, in my being, in my mind, vital feelings, emotions, body, that in that place I make myself sacred. I become sacrificed. Yeah. Sacrificing is the key word. Yes, it's a constant transformation of the being. So all the elements have to be sacrificed, have to be made sacred. Yeah? And once they are sacrificed, once the flame of the divine will and power and consciousness is there, then the mundane thing becomes sacred. So we have much to offer. We have many things which are not sacred, and they have to be sacrificed, made sacred. So I make myself in that part sacred. That's what I wanted to say. In that part which I offer, and in that part which you take as my offering, because he has to accept my offering. Once he accepts it, he flames there. And once he flames there, then I become sacred in that part of myself. Now I finally explained this. Got a long way to come to become sacred. Interestingly, in the human cycle, I would recommend to go through our audiobooks. Believe me, you will not regret. Just do it every day, one chapter, just for your sake, to understand what Sri Aurobindo wants to say. He says an amazing thing that all what we achieved in our civilization, all our scientific advancement, all whatever we have, all our cultural, national, humanitarian civilizational achievements, although they look like great and immense, they are only instrumental to the development of our spirit. They are secondary, they are instruments. And if they do not play that role of enhancing the progress of the spirit in us, then they become a means of collapse of the whole project. This is important to understand. We are very proud with our achievements, but these achievements are instrumental. And if they do not play that role, they are the hindrance.
Actually, if we think deeply on this, then what these instruments, so-called instruments of modern achievements, even the very small ones I'm talking about, the conveniences we have in the house itself, frees up a lot of our time. So that time, the time that has been freed up for us, what most people generally do is they get onto the computer, internet, TV, phone, whatever, and waste their time. But if that time which has been freed up, we can use consciously, then we are making the right use of those instruments which are helping us free up that time. The modern inventions and discoveries are freeing us up, giving us more time, but we waste the time given to us. We think that, we have earned this leisure time, therefore, to do other activities which draw the vital. But instead of going there, if we can see that this time which has been freed up, I can use it more consciously to develop certain things in my spiritual work, or even if I'm not on the spiritual path, do some activity which helps me to grow, some self-development.
But it is a first reaction like this, because we come from that hardship of life, so we will become lazy. This was very much so, and we were very proud of our instruments. Yes. Slowly it changes with generations changing, which are taking it for granted already. They are either going totally nuts into the drugs and so on, or they have more possibilities and capacity. So there will be kind of a choice made by humanity. Some part of humanity will move forward faster. The other will be stuck into this vital enjoyments and animal life more, concerned about their sexuality, about their appearance, about how they look, how they feel. They feeling, nothing more than feeling. But and how bad they feel and how miserable they are, and whatever it is. But
it takes you down another road completely, that kind of thinking. It twists and warps the personality. But having said that, there is a group of people, a large section of people who spend their time doing research and doing good work to benefit mankind, And even though that group is not very large, it is there. It is there. And so there is hope. But a large section of the society is just going the other way, especially I see it here, because I live here, I see it here, I'm very aware of it. It begins from childhood and goes all the way to the old age. Every age is involved in that.
Yes.
I just want to say something over here. We are always conditioned from childhood to treat time as an enemy, but we have never learned to treat time as a friend or as an ingredient of our own selves. And
Very
much
nice.
of our problems comes from that. Everybody thinks time is an enemy, but we need to relearn this thing, I think.
Yeah, we have to make time our friend. And it is possible once you step into this silent mind, for example, or to the even calm mind. Yeah? Calm your mind. Yeah? Don't rush in with every thought, whatever passes through your brain, because there are so many thoughts, so many worries, so many things to solve in this world. Yeah? Once you have that poise, inner poise, you will see that time is infinite. Yeah? You have much more time. You can focus very efficiently on things and be much more productive than in that rush of thoughts. So this is making time our friend in a way. Yeah? So it's a yogic discipline. It has to be there. Yeah, great. We can stop here for today and continue next time. We have 3 more verses and we will finish this hymn. Thank you for sharing thoughts. It's very nice. How is your tooth, Deepti? Not helping that thing?
No, the claw was helping. That's why I could listen to you.
Chew it in.
Yeah. I'm being hammered.
Yeah, there are also tablets I have with me. The good in the US are very good. Yeah. So you just buy one, which will help you immediately. I don't show you because it's in the US. And I keep it in case I have tooth in the night, bonk, and that's it, done.
Yeah.
And this is important. Okay, thank you. And I will close with mantra. Om Sarve Bhavantu Sukhinah Sarve Santo Niramaya Sarve Bhadrani Pashyantu Ma Kaschit Dukha Bhag Bhavet. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Shri Guru Bhyo Namaha. Hari Om.